hade webbinariet om fasciabehandling. Det var ganska intressant åtagande vi gjorde så här att dyka upp varje dag klockan 12.30, för det blir alltid lite knepigt att hinna med lunchen. Jag hoppas att du som ser det här har en bra lunch helt enkelt. Hej Ivar, läget? Nu försvann du. Nu, hej. Hej. Ja. Avvakta lite grann. Se om du kommer in. Vi ska i alla fall prata om behandling idag. Så är det någon som har behandlingsfrågor för han skriver dem i chatten så kan vi ta dem as we speak. Alltså är det något du vill veta om fasciabehandling i allmänhet? Vad det är bra för, hur det funkar, vad man kan göra med det och så vidare. Så säg till. Nu kanske Ivar, hej.
Hej!
Nu är du här med rätt mikrofon också. Vilken grej.
Ja, men det är otroligt.
Du berättar lite grann. Hur är läget?
Jo, men det är bra tycker jag. Det är bättre, som du säger egentligen, spännande när man gör olika sådana här bitar och sen så ska teknik och allting sånt funka. Men lite bättre och bättre blir det för varje dag.
Du tog ett steg tillbaka idag dock. Nej, så kommer det och går. Nu är du här.
Jajamän.
Bra. Du, behandling ska vi prata om idag.
Ja.
Så vi väntar in och ser om det kommer frågor från folk. Nu undrar någon på engelska. Ska vi ta det på engelska? Det är någon som tittar här som inte kan se för det är på svenska. Vi kan testa. Svenska förstår också på engelska, tänker jag. Ska vi köra?
No.
We can switch language to English. Why not? We can do every other on English perhaps or something. This is a Swedish webinar regularly about treatments, but now we're going to do it in English. So ask whatever questions you have about fascia treatment and we'll try to answer them as best as possible. We had an interesting experience with fascia treatment when we were in Ireland this weekend. So we are from Sweden. We flew from Sweden to Ireland and held a presentation in English about fascia, the living body, and fascia treatments. And then we had a treatment session of around 20 people showing the treatment. And what fascinated you the most about the treatment of the Irish?
It was that when we had a sort of workshop before and talked about sort of the living body, what that is, and showed different examples on cases that we had throughout the years, and also talking about sort of the staircase, but also what can you do? How can you give yourself the right conditions to create that opportunity to get the results you want? If you have that sort of, if you're already in that sort of perspective or in that common ground or sense, then the sort of treatment makes more sense. Then the treatment becomes so much simpler. And the thing that we saw on the day after with the people that actually didn't go to the workshop that we had the day before is that just sort of explain, okay, this is what happens, this is what I do. If you have some form of tension or nothing that isn't working the way it should, it probably has a lack of flow. And sort of get that connection with your body, focus on your breath, focus on what is happening, how the sort of waves are spreading throughout your...
There is something with Ivar's internet connection. But I will, while he's talking about the flow, I will actually share how that looks, as that is a part of the understanding here. I've shared this before, but it's a good reminder of what it is that we're doing. So if you go just a second, waiting for it to start. A lot of technical issues today. That's an interesting way to start the week and the session today. I hope you bear in mind. There we go. Putting it up over here. So this is the footage from Jean-Claude Guimberteau, his film Strolling Under the Skin, showing how the living body actually looks on the inside. So it's all dynamic, it's all moving. And to Ivar's point about flow and that all tensions is basically not, there's not all tension has to do with there not being enough flow. The flow needs to go between these, this web, this fascia. And if there's blockages in here, if there's tension, then the flow can't pass as it should. But if there's enough flow, that flow will start to restructure the shape. So by increasing flow, you will restructure the body. And this tension over here could be that you have been, for example, for a very long time, been um, bent over forwards, like sitting at a desk or looking at your phone or driving your car. So the positions you're having in your day-to-day life affects the structure of your whole body. But if this gets to flow the way it should, well, then you can reset that. You can get back to that. And that was something that happened a lot with the people in Ireland. They were surprised that they could have their shoulders go back a little bit, or that the shoulders, instead of being like this, could be like that, or instead of being like this, they could be like that. Their pelvis being aligned, their legs feeling a bit lighter, their whole body's feeling a bit lighter when you have this structure the way it should. So the theory that we based around the living body that you can find on the Fascia guide is that every symptom, every problem, every pain point in the body could be related to a decreased flow and a dense structure. So the lymph fluid blocks that you're talking about is connected to the fascial tension because it's the same thing. So in this network of connective tissue in this fascia system, everything else is. So this encapsulates everything in the body, every cell, every muscle, every organ. The lymphatic system is coexisting inside of the fascia system. And what we have seen is that all fascia can be stretched, but the back to how it should be, but depending on circumstances, depending on time. So, for example, we had a couple of examples in Ireland with scar tissues due to C-section. So you can't expect that to get away right away. But if you understand what happened with this, with the C-section, with the scar, so usually if you have a C-section in the stomach, then that tension can be in your shoulders or in your legs or in your hip all the way out to your arm. So you have to release all of the tension all over the body that was affected by this scar tissue. And then the scar tissue can start to heal if it gets enough flow, enough. We're using vibrations to do this. So it can be done. It is depending on how long it takes. And we've had customers throughout the years or clients throughout the years where the C-section scar tissue has been almost minimized to nothing. So there are cases of that. It's just a matter of time. So if you look at but that's the thing I was thinking about. Like if you look at this and have this inside of your imagination, that actually helps you as a client create better circumstances for healing. So, for example, we had what I was interested in with the people who came on Ireland was that um, what they brought with them into the treatment in terms of expectations, in terms of an open mind, in terms of understanding what was going on, actually affected the treatment results. And that's something you must have experienced a lot, Ivar.
Yes.
So how the more you understand about the living body, the more you can imagine the living body, the quicker you will heal during treatments, because your intention lying there is also part of the healing process. So it's not like you're going to someone to get fixed, or you're going to someone who will then do something to you. This is a process that is mutual. So you're doing this together with someone, right?
And the thing is also, just to sort of fall back to that, is that there is in 7 years you have a new body. That is facts. And it's like, okay, how can I then give myself the right conditions to make sure that the new body that I'm getting in 7 years' time is the optimal one for me? The thing that when people say, chronic diagnose and stuff like that as well, the diagnosis is your state of mind or your state today. How is my physical state today? What is this? That is a diagnose. If you have something that is chronic, then you had it for a longer time. But people sort of, most of the people I meet connect chronic to I'm done. That's it. I'm gonna have this all of my life. And you can get scared of diagnosis and stuff like that as well, but it's all about, okay, what is my physical state today? If I had it for a longer time, then it's chronic. But I get a new body in 7 years. So what can I do with that? And the thing is, when it comes to sort of treatment, it's all about how do I sort of give myself the best opportunity to create that space, communication, relaxation, flow within your body so that the body can heal in an optimal way. And the thing is about, if we're talking about movement and if we're talking about flow and if we're talking about this different things around this, then it comes to, okay, how can I sort of do that within the treatment? And that's why we have the machines that we have, because that is the most efficient way I've seen to create movement, create space in a relaxing, increasing mobility, increasing flow way possible.
And we got a question of hypertension and fluid retention in the lower legs and feet, and sometimes under the eyes, and if fascia is a contributing factor. And I would rephrase that question, because it's not, fascia is not a factor. Fascia is the system and the web that everything is taking place in. Like, it's around everything in the body. So if you have whatever problem you have, it's in your fascia. If you have a problem with your feet, well, that's part of the fascia. If you have a problem with your gut, it's part of the fascia. So there is a visceral fascia around all the organs in your body, connected to the superficial fascia that goes between different parts of your body, connected to the fluid part of the fascia that goes all the way around. So it's all connected to the same system. We are all connected in one. Everything in us is connected to each other. And there was a researcher called Carol Davis who did a study on scar tissue and saw that scar tissue in your arm was actually connected to your feet. So it's all put together and hangs together. So how do you use that to understand why you're having certain types of problems? I would look more into movement flow. What's restricting that movement? What's restricting that flow? How is the breathing? How is your exercise? How is your posture? How is your balance? And how can you work with that? What we have done is we've developed a treatment that does this very, very effectively. So that instead of spending hours every day to try to adjust your posture, which might be hard to do on your own, you can go to a clinic, get a treatment for 1 hour that will totally change your posture. And that's what we've been doing for 15 years. Why we also have this this webinar in Swedish is because the treatments are available in Sweden right now. There are some therapists around the world, but it's quite you need to be quite lucky to, if you're international, to have one next to you. But there's a hard way to look at it. But it's all connected, and that's the thing. And if you want to learn more about that, to dig deeper in it, I would recommend going into the Fascia Guide podcast series and looking at the Fascia Guide website, because there's articles about nutrition, there's articles about breathing, it's articles about how you take care of your body, basically. So it's all connected. That's the simple and the hard answer. There are some therapists in the US. How many are there, Ivar?
About 10 or 15.
10 or 15. Do you have any states or a way to get in contact with them?
Well, just send me an email. I'll send you their information.
So send an email to Ivar at fasciainnovation.com, and he will see if he can get you in touch with a therapist in the US. You wrote it as well. Wrote the email. That's good work together.
Nej, men jag tänker egentligen för att byta egentligen till svenska.
Okay. And that was the English section. Back to Swedish.
För det är egentligen så att alltså mycket i det här handlar om just det som Axel egentligen förklarade lite på engelska också. Just att fascia är lymfa, fascia är muskler, fascia är skelett, fascia är leder, fascia är överallt egentligen samtidigt. Och där någonstans just att, är det då någonting som jag har, då är det också typ så här, men bra, vad är intentionen? Vad är det jag vill utav det? Hur egentligen är mitt tankesätt? Det är också typ så den här biten att en behandling är 50 minuter på en vecka. Men resterande veckan är ju 127 timmar. Så vad gör jag för att se mig själv? Okej, bra, nu gör jag de här bitarna. Hur egentligen bygger upp det här på ett annat sätt? Det är också som, alltså du kan ta samma exempel som med träning. Du kan ta samma exempel som egentligen med alla bitar som finns runt omkring eller relationer eller vad det är också. För det är också just att, men bra, om vi ses 50 minuter och vi gör det varje vecka. Vad gör man för att ge sig själv de bästa förutsättningarna däremellan? Är det så att man går tillbaka och gör samma sak igen? Eller gör man någonting nytt? Försöker man göra små förändringar hela tiden? Eller går man tillbaka och gör samma sak? Så där är också så här, mycket av behandling handlar om bra, hur ger jag mig själv egentligen de bästa förutsättningar för det? Och behandling är ett sätt. Det som också är utifrån det du får från behandling, det är att du får någon som faktiskt hjälper dig. Du får någon som vill hjälpa dig. Och den är egentligen tanken, den intentionen som kommer bakom det också. Oavsett om du jobbar med lymfmassage eller massage eller vad det kan vara för någonting, så kommer ju alla de här bitarna, du kommer jobba med fascian oavsett. Men då handlar det om typ så här, bra, för det är mer egentligen perspektivet och tankesättet än egentligen själva hur fixerar jag mig in på vad exakt det här är för någonting. För det är också just att om du tänker igenom helhet, tänker igenom de här bitarna, då får du ett annat perspektiv. Att men vänta, hur jag egentligen gör för att sätta igång allting i kroppen så att allting jobbar. Och inte bara tänka nu ont i nacken, då behandlar jag nacken. Och det är också just att få den biten och se de här sakerna, och egentligen som Axel sa innan där, att det handlar om att få in en metodik. Vi har en metodik som vi egentligen jobbat med under 16 år. Och det är all erfarenhet vi har både sett från kunder, från oss själva, från de som har jobbat praktiskt inom det, för att se, men bra, hur ser det här ut? Hur gör man det här på enkla sätt? Och det är det som vi lär ut i våra kurser. Det är det som vi egentligen har på Fascia-kliniken också. Men hur kombinerar jag egentligen alla saker? Hur ger jag mig själv de bästa förutsättningarna för att må så bra som möjligt på ett annat sätt? Typ så.
Typ så. Har du mer idag? Tillägga?
Nej, är det så att du kollar på det här och är liksom intresserad och nyfiken, skulle jag verkligen rekommendera att söka upp en klinik i närheten av dig och gå och testa en behandling. Och är det så att du är intresserad och vet mer hur det här egentligen funkar, då har vi introduktionskurser. Och är du intresserad av att se, men vänta, om jag då jobbar med det här, hur kan det i så fall funka? Då är det bara att du skriver till mig, så hjälper vi till. Se vad vi kan hitta för dig.
Och vill du ha en liksom snabbare bild av vad det här faktiskt är och hur det fungerar, kan jag varmt rekommendera att du går på något av de öppna husen som finns runt om i Sverige. Så att här har vi på Fascia-klinikernas hemsida, kan man klicka på event. Då har vi öppet hus i Helsingborg imorgon 17.30. 8 februari i Nyköping, 10 februari gästföreläsning i Sundbyberg, öppet hus i Västervik, 11 februari öppet hus i Halmstad 12 februari, Sollentuna 12 februari, Leksand 17, Piteå 28, Jönköping också 28, 2 mars i Malmö. Så det är ett bra tillfälle nu att ta och gå och testa behandlingen på kliniker. Ett öppet hus, då får du just en bild där, men hur funkar behandlingen? Vilka jobbar där? Vad är tänket bakom? Det är oftast en form av diskussion eller presentation, eller att man får testa sin balans och hållning och få känna hur det känns och sådär. Så att varm rekommendation att gå på öppet hus om du är osäker på om det här är någonting för dig. Och på Fascia-klinikernas hemsida under event så ser du vad du kan göra. And regarding the question about doctors and fascia, I recommend you actually going to the podcast because this episode here, the 4th episode and also the 6th episode, is about that. So why is this not mainstream yet? Why is it hard for it to become mainstream? So this is more information about that if you want to know more about fascia. Really happy that you're here, that you're asking questions, and nice that you're interested. So I recommend the Fascia Guide podcast. There's also other episodes with interviews from world leading researchers about fascia and the living body. And recommend looking into that. With that said, thank you. Have a great day, and let's see you again on another episode. Mondays is the English ones, and then we do Swedish for the rest of the week. But please turn up next Monday as well. Wishing you a great day. Take care. Bye.